we remain stateside in the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship as the series heads to New York State and the Watkins Glen International Circuit for round 4 of the championship. Welcome to the Apex Racing TV esports studio. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and I have back alongside me David Sampson for this round of the series. And David, if we went to one of the most popular sports car circuits in North America last time out at Road Atlanta, this place is the one which can perhaps rival it as the most successful circuit on iRacing in North America. What makes this place so good?
It's putting the lap together here. I mean, I think this is in most people's top 5 all-time tracks, and unless you're not a fan of the bus stop, then it's bottom 5. It is a tricky track. It's a short track, much like Road Atlanta. It's a fast track, a little bit more technical. Almost 2 phases of the track with how you handle the bus stop and the rest of the track. I like this track, but a lot has to come together to nail it here.
Exactly. And well, let's have a quick reminder of the rounds that we've had so far this season with the calendar, and already some pretty popular ones as well. And of course the rest of the championship as well coming up in the next few weeks, taking us all the way to December. Fuji starting off, and then Spa, Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen. We've got Le Mans next week, which will be a 75-minute race, and some absolute classics as well still to round out this very strong calendar, of course matching the IMSA official series as well. But I think last time out, honestly, there was probably the best round of the championship, Road Atlanta, and part of it was the chaos we saw at the front of the field. And we got a bit of a clip just to demonstrate 4 different leaders in the LMDH category, and they all had issues.
Yeah, we're seeing this. It's tough. It's a big field of LMDHs, varying skill levels, and I mean QT needs some luck. Does need some luck. I would suggest one more pole, and this time he can get away clean. But yeah, it was a fantastic race last week, and Watkins Glen will always deliver. There is going to be a bus stop incident. There is going to be a change of the lead, and how the LMDHs extract their pace here. It's going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, there was issues for Marteau, as you say, off the line, getting contact, and then Dan Kraft spun from the lead a few laps in. Then you just saw the instant for Andre Viella, and it opened the door for this man, Nick Madsen, to take his first ever win in the series. And yeah, Mag Performance, big win for them. And that means that at the moment in the championship, we have got Dan Kraft leading the way. And you have to wonder what Kraft could have done if it weren't for that spin, because once he got out of the pits after that spin, taking repairs that we're not quite sure why he took repairs, he was absolutely lightning fast. He was.
We saw a few things. I mean, we had issues with pit stop. Was it with Paul as well, who sped?
I think he got a 40-second pen, yeah.
Yeah, and that, by the looks of the timing sheet, cost him the win. Yeah, I mean, I want to see these guys put it together. We haven't seen yet a pole, full run, clean pit stop, and the delivery. Obviously, it's tough out there, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I think Road Atlanta, a particularly treacherous circuit. I think a lot of our drivers found maybe this Watkins Glen will be a little bit easier. So yeah, Kraft leading the way with 111 points, only 1 point clear of Paul Busby. Madsen right there, Viella right there, Zafoli right there. Zafoli not necessarily fighting for wins so far, but he's been consistent in these first 3 rounds. But you know, you think of Thiago Marteau, who frankly, when it comes to pace, has been the dominant driver so far. At least in qualifying, he still needs to put those results on track because he's had a couple of miserable starts so far this season. In the Amateur Championship, it's looking very good for Blaž Turovsky at the moment. He has won 2 of the 3 rounds. The other one went quite sadly for him, but I mean, last time out, Turovsky, I think he was fighting for an overall podium. Yeah,
I mean, he's looking very pro-esque. Always delivering, very quick, very consistent, staying out of trouble. He's looking, a cut above the field. I think we saw him last round. He was 6 positions clear of his nearest rival because of how many pros he slapped in qualifying.
Yeah, it was very impressive. By the way, you got some fans in the chat. Daniel Civisabo, who actually we're going to be discussing about Daniel. A bit of news about him later on in the late Apex. Do tune in for that at 21 GMT. That's basically 2 hours time. But yeah, saying that you would demolish the competition.
I would give it a good go. I love this track. I love this car. I mean, there's some fast guys on the track, but I'm I would love to be out there. You know me. I'd
Yes.
love to be out there.
Yeah, it would be very,
see
very
my-
entertaining.
My
to
wife's
see.
in chat. Hello. Hello, Thomas.
And when it comes to the Teams Championship, we've also got that in the LMDHs. Effect Simulations currently leading the way on that one, 0-7 in second place. I think there's going to be many more changes in that. In the LMP3s, we just got the overall standings. And I mean, this was very competitive last time out. It is currently Stan Sedgley, though, still in the lead. He's won 2 of the 3 races, but it was Remy Fortin who was able to break that run of race wins with a very hard-earned 75-minute victory last time.
Yeah, we're seeing a bunch of the LMP3 drivers. Probably it's been a bit more of the consistent up the front runners that compared to the MDHs. What we're seeing 3 or 4 drivers duke it out. It looks very close. Sedgley does seem to have the answer at the moment for delivering the needed points, but State definitely has that 1 lap pace. Can he put it together? I can't wait to see, because it's been very close between them.
Yeah, the State seems to have come close every single round so far, but out of the 3 we've had so far this season, he's just missed out on each occasion. And in the Teams Championship as well, it's still Olympus Esports who are leading the way, of course. Dan Sedgley, part of that team, and they've been able to pull away from Ibris are black and green. But yeah, Ibris are not with a fantastic start to the season. They've been unlucky on a lot of counts. I think one of them will be able to take a race victory at some point this season. But let's have a look at the track that we've got tonight. And yeah, it's one of them where, to use the cliche, it needs no introduction because we all know it ever so well. It's a slight difference though compared to what it was 18 months ago, to be fair, David, though, with the rescan. Are you a fan of the modifications that they made?
I'm a scan. I appreciate the look, slight adjustments, but the off-track limits, it now only feels like there is just the one if you run out of T1. T1 seems to be a little more cleared up now on where the off-track is, but the rest of the lap, it almost feels like it's off-track free now. You can track out almost the exit of every corner. I'm not a fan of that too much. I mean, it's a bit silly on some of the exit of the corners. You can run way on to where the grass should be, and yeah. But no, overall, love the track. Since the rescan, it's just brutal on tyres, so I want to see how that plays out over the hour.
Yeah, that could be a big factor. We saw it a lot in the LMDHs last season. Haven't seen it so far or so much this season, but yeah, we could well see it tonight for this round because you've got the long back straight, and of course we are using the bus stop for this round of the championship to match the official series. And Tim Cox disagrees with me on this. We were actually commentating on this circuit a couple of days ago. I think it just destroys the overtaking opportunities, really. You can still overtake, but compared to the carousel, it's less of a braking zone, and it's so single file that you sort of got to sort out who's going to be ahead before the corner gets there.
It's not Watkins Glen without the bus stop, so there's no further discussion needed. That's my point. If no bus stop, then it's not the Glen, and it's not a top 5 track.
Big shout.
Yep.
Let us know if you agree. I personally dislike the bus stop. I love the carousel, but I do appreciate that. Yes, very, very dangerous to have that length of straights with pretty much no runoff at the end of it. Turn 9, absolute pain. I think probably the most struggling corner. How have you found it in the LMDHs so far this week on that turn 9? Because in most cars, it's a very tricky, oversteery corner to manage.
9 is the slow left-hander. Okay, yeah. Keeping it in a high gear, opening up your wheel for throttle seems to be the way. You just got to be careful the later you get into the race. I think I was on white flag, chatting away to chat, proper chilling, talking about how much iRacing I was going to get, and I almost lost the rear. So yeah, you got to respect the corner because, like you say, it's just one of those corners that should be simple. It's a simple left-hander, but we've all spun there.
And what about the race start as well? Do you think there's going to be any incidents? Since the rescan, it's a bit wider now, the S's, but it can still be a problem.
Yes, we have seen incidents. It's just awareness. If you're a single screen user, the one at Glen can be a bit tricky to navigate with other cars. But like you say, you can run a lot wider now. And as long as you tuck in before, well, they need to learn where to tuck in, you can avoid the slowdown. But no, we are going to. Because if it's the exit of one, people trying to get the throttle down to be the first one up the hill, they lose the rear. LMDH is very wide. Someone's going to collect one of them. So there will be a spin.
Yeah. Let's see how bad it is. And by the way, Dane Stevie Savvy agreeing with me on the bus stop and seeing that he's got a higher rating than you do.
I'm not yielding.
He takes precedence. Anyway, we are going to transfer over to qualifying. We'll go to a quick advertisement and we'll be back with you in just a moment on Apex Racing TV.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Thanks to VRS, who you're just watching a trailer for, and yeah, VRS providing the hardware that you saw in that video with their pedals and their wheelbase and their wheel rim as well. And do make sure to visit vrs.racing or apexracingsim.com in order to get yourself one of those products. They are used by many pro esports drivers, and these are our one competition and many others. So do certainly check them out. And we are currently in the LMP3 qualifying. We've got 3 more minutes to go. And so far, it's Adam State delivering on the promise that we hoped that he would deliver on provisional pole position.
Yeah, looking very good. Nice tasty lap. And I'm not sure of the lap times here because we haven't obviously been running these in the officials. But I'm going to take Adam's word for it that it's fast.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course this series is always following the IMSA rather than the I forget what the LMP3 series is. Is it IMSA Michelin or is it just LMP3?
There's 2.
Yeah.
It's the Falcon.
That's the one.
LMP3 Championship or Challenge or
yeah.
One of the C's.
I'm very much behind in the. I still call stuff iRacing Le Mans series from 2019 at times. Kev Copeland is one of the drivers as well. He's set a lap time so far. He's in 6th position. Still got Remy Fortin, who of course won last time out. Interesting that Fortin's only just got out of the pit, so seemingly issues for him because he's lost the first 7 minutes of this qualifying session.
Yeah, it could be anything. He might have forgot his pit limiter and had to reset the car, or I mean, I suppose he could have reset after say a couple of sectors and then he's repeated the sectors. But I suppose yeah, 7-8 minutes, that's a long time. Probably a technical issue, I'd say.
Good to see Bob Humphrey out there in 3rd place. He was one of the last drivers to join the session, and once qualifying starts, I believe drivers can't get into the session, so they have to turn up fairly early. Do all these drivers, even the LMDHs who aren't on track for another 20 minutes, they've got to get in before this session starts. As Fortin, with that first attempt, immediately goes up into 2nd position.
Very close.
And he's got 1 more lap to go. Maybe, in fact, he'll even have a lap after this if he's got the fuel to do so. So the Delta V Racing driver giving himself a decent shot at qualifying, even with one hand tied behind his back.
Yeah, separated by a few thousandths there. The differences were minute. We have Thomas in chat, who's unfortunately skipping this one due to illness. But he'll be back for Le Mans.
Yeah, he's going to be hopefully getting some extra practice, maybe at Le Mans. There was also a new driver as well, and well, this is very rude of me. I should remember all the names of the drivers. But someone broke their finger, unfortunately, earlier on, which
hopefully not on a wheel rim.
It can happen, can't it? It's never happened to me, but it's a wonder how it doesn't happen more often.
I've picked up a wrist injury that's actually still with me today. That's how bad it affected me, but I know to look after it. But yeah, I know people that fractured. I don't know about broken. Yeah, you do have to respect the equipment. It can be dangerous when you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I think I almost injured someone in a community race, in a practice session this week in IMSA. It was someone I know, I don't think from this league, from community races, and he parked the car and I hit him from behind, and he was sorting out his rig when I hit him.
Okay.
So yeah, I was worried, but he was okay, thank God.
And Fortin goes to the top of the stones. Then that was his second lap.
Yeah, essentially second, very close at the front. We've got a 38.4, 38.4 for 1 and 2, and a 38.5 for Adam State. Very tight at the front.
And it has sort of been the story so far this season of them being a league ahead of the rest. Humphrey was very much there back at Fuji in round 1 of the championship, but hasn't been able to replicate that form since. Callista's probably not going to be worrying the top 3 spots. And, well, he's got 0.8 of a second to improve in order to get up any place. He did set a personal best second sector on this lap, but it gets a few hundredths off his time, but not much more than that. And I think that is pretty much it. And once again, and I use the phrase. What phrase am I going to use, David?
Damn squib.
Squib.
Squib. That's what I meant. That's what I said. Yeah.
Damn squib.
We'll edit that out.
Of a quality session. Well, Fortin's still out there. He's the one guy who might improve Fortin, but he's the one guy who doesn't need to improve because he's definitely got pole position secured.
Yeah, for sure. Just needs to get away clean. But yeah, we have been mentioning this. Maybe with Thomas not there to, pack it to the pack of 4. Does seem to be a bit of a skill jump at the front. But it's always going to be tight. They've got to manage the traffic. Laps are tricky here. As I said, I don't think I've driven... I think I did a community race once here, but I'll be interested to know how the car feels over the bus stop. If I remember rightly, it was quite technical. So let's see. An hour of nailing the bus stop can get fatiguing for sure for everyone.
Yeah.
I saw our very own Owen streaming today, casually in the lead, chilled as you like, but almost losing it in the bus stop. Just relaxing that 1% too much.
What is it when you mess up the bus stop that's the difference? Like what goes wrong?
It's the bump on the left. So the closer you get to that inside wall, the safer you are, which is madness. But if you're a little bit too far left, there's that bump where you'd rather be all the way to the right, all the way to the left. See, that was perfect. Nice and close to the wall. So the rest of it's fine. It's if you hit that bump, you're going to have multiple tyres in the air. You need to steer left when you land. That means the rear's going to go, then you're mid-catching it. And to be honest, you never really do recover it. If you hit the bump full speed, you at best you'll be facing the wrong way on the grass. That's the best scenario. If you're not hit, if you don't hit a wall. I will say hitting the wall is less this season because of the grass change. The grass gives us grip now, whereas you used to ice slide. So you are a little bit less likely to put your rear into the wall.
So all the LMP3 drivers have their qualifying complete, and of course we go into this second stage of qualifying, the 10 to 20 minute stage, which is where the LMDH AM drivers can set their lap times. And sometimes these guys are up on the front couple of rows, including Galash Turovsky, who qualified maybe P3 last time out. It wasn't P3 actually, it was Biella, because I remember he collided with Martek, but maybe P4 for Turovsky. And, well, he's already set the fastest time. There he goes, at 27.6. And we'll wait to see if anyone can get close to that.
Yeah, looking good. So what this is the LMDH AMS, because I say, when I see his name, I always think of the pros. He's always up there fighting. No, this is going to be interesting. Oh, Thomas is saying, yeah, second week last season it was there. Oh, and Hump Day. So only question, Thomas, is did I beat you? Question.
I mean, I must say, second week of last season is probably the longest break that Watkins Glen has had from any of the official series. It is so commonly visited.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been on the calendar so far this season, especially with well, when was the 6,000 Glen? I guess that was probably second week last season, actually. Or
yeah, it was probably
6,000.
Well, the LMP3 wasn't there. I'm trying to think when we went there, officials say IMS or last season. I'm not sure. I skipped out a lot of IMSA last season just doing the sprint racing, VRS.
Sure. Yeah.
But now we've got these beasts, lots of these GTP animals. It's getting really popular. It's actually very popular.
Casey's saying good luck to Kevin Smith tonight for Furano Motorsports. And Kevin Smith's got a few other supporters as well. Damien Cross Racing as well. So we do like to see the fans in chat. Do let us know who you are supporting out on circuit.
Very tight at the top, 27.6 for 1 and 2. As I say that, Bala improves. Turovsky's now on a 4. 27.4 is a good lap. I'm trying to think of lap times that were being done in IMSA. What's the temperature in here? What's that in Celsius?
I'm good at converting these.
What's it in Celsius?
That's probably 28.
Oh, okay.
Let's see how close I get. So,
Very close.
78.8.
But yeah, I was thinking, no, the lows were 28. It was average
26.
26, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
IMSA never got that cold this week. So expecting to see some killer laps.
Well, interesting that Owen Carroll in his Bob test earlier this week, just a 27.8 for him. So already 4 tenths faster than that. Maybe demonstrating how quick the circuit is.
Well, and
or maybe Owen's just not that good.
I could tell him that, but it's probably quali fuel and you get full ERS.
I think you're making excuses for Owen here. Just because you're part of Apex, you can't make excuses.
I will defend Owen, yes. Because if he's slow, I wouldn't want to know what I am.
So Turoski back out on circuit. He is currently on an out lap because he came into the pits after his 2 first laps to get a new set of tyres on. And so Nucera will be the next challenger to him. David Ray saying some personal best sectors at the moment. Rink Vilbrink as well with some personal best sectors. This should improve, and he does move up into 6th position ahead of Farquhar. That's the 225.
Yeah, I do think we're going to see some 26s from the... oh, there you go, Josh's test. 27 air, 32 track. Oh, okay. Good luck, Josh. That's a good lap from Turoski. He's going to definitely be hanging out in the pros as per the usual. Nucera, how did Nucera get on last week? I'm trying to recall. Was he the guy 6 back from... I don't know. It's a whole week ago.
Yeah. And so many things happened at Atlanta that
Yes.
in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, they were quite quick. However, they probably crashed and finished 18th. That's the story for a lot of guys.
A lot of lead changes. Obviously, it was heartbreaking to see what happened to QT into T1. Yeah, that was crazy. It was more of a start procedure that was broken. I don't know what penalties were handed out, but if I remember rightly, he was just sat there waiting for his allotted placement to go, and he was caught.
Yeah, there was actually a 30-second penalty given to Viella post-race for that incident.
Right, okay.
I think Viella had his own issues, didn't he? He crashed out in the race.
Yeah.
So that could have cost him the race win or even a podium, as it was. Yeah, his race was fairly ruined by himself in the end as well. So yeah, both of them not getting the points that they should have got. And had either of them got decent points, they would have definitely been leading the championship going into this round 4.
Maybe QT might shake it up this race and not qualify and think maybe just starting at the back will be safer.
Well, we did have a race yesterday in the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula where Chris Rosenkrantz had a qualifying ban. And I think he lost the race by about 5 seconds. He started in 24th place and last.
Wow.
On the pits even. He was 15 seconds behind within 5 minutes of the race. Had to go all the way up the order and finish P5. And also we had an AMG event as well for some of the staff. And Elias Seppänen, who people may know from the ADAC GT series in real life. Also an Apex Racing team driver himself and Mercedes AMG esports driver as well. And he decided to show who's boss and went from last to, I think he was 2nd in the end. I don't think he won, but yeah, I think he was about 20 seconds off within about 2 laps.
Yeah,
Had to go through about 5 pile-ups to get there and yeah, finished just behind.
It seems pretty handy. So we've got Verona Motorsport in chat as well, thanking Kitty and Damien and Joe for the support. Wow, we've got the full support package out there for the team.
You really do. I don't know what Verona is doing to get all these fans, but it's working well.
Yeah.
So Turoski back to the pits again. He's just to take some more tyres. I don't think he improved on that stint.
I don't think he can get an outlap in now, could he?
You're absolutely right, yeah. You need to be starting your lap before the 20 minutes. So everyone who's starting a lap now, this will be their last attempt. Trying to see if anyone's improving significantly, but I'm not seeing that much green. Maybe Marcos Silva, who's just approaching the line now. This is looking pretty solid for Silva. I think they'll scale him up to 4th place. Yes, it does. Just short of Cullen in 3rd.
I thought Silver was more of a 2nd award, not a 4th award. Sorry, did that joke not land?
I think that's... I mean...
Sorry, I retract.
Like 1 or 2, like moderation's all right. It just... Yeah.
Nucera picked... let's see, has Nucera got tyre? No, I don't think... well, Nucera's not improving, Ben's not improving, Vey, Silver in the pits. Yeah, looks like it's all good. I don't think anyone's continuing that's on a heater. Maybe Nuno Costa, sector 2 and 3, but let's see.
Thomas Hansen saying,
See, it landed somewhere.
Landed for him.
Sand, somewhere it landed.
Someone out there's got a jump kit, and they're playing it. Yeah, Hutchinson, I think, has used... Oh, no, Hutchinson with a couple of green sectors, so this might be an improvement for him. He's got to improve by a massive margin, however, to get up, and he improves by a 10th. And Nuno Costa going back to the pit. So that's the MDH AMs complete. And now I've just got the MDH Pros. And here, Thiago Mato, the first man out onto circuit. I think the way that the pit stalls work... In fact, he's not the first man out on circuit. It's Paul Busby, the first man out on circuit. No, I might be wrong on that. No, it's Joshua Wilson. Apologies. But the way that the pit stalls work, is it by practice position? I think it is.
Yeah, it depends on the session. If it's like heat racing, one is determined by how quickly you join into session. Another is determined by practice time. Yeah, I think in this type of session where there's no heat racing, I think you're right. I think it's practice time. But don't quote me. Any predictions, Paul?
Well, I'd say.
Okay. That would be a safe bet.
He was on pole by, what, 3/4 of a second last time out Red Atlanta? He actually said that it was a GOAT lap. Well, like, it was one of the best quali laps he's ever done.
All right, then I'm going to, as usual, be wrong, but go for something different. I'm going for the guy that beat me on this list this week, and that's Joshua Wilson.
Sure, yeah. Yep. Sounds like a good shout. Wilson going for the double warm-up lap? Is that what you've been doing?
No, we only get to your second lap is quicker. So what I found was key was just a slow out lap, sub 200k, sub 200k, deploy off. That's your out lap, and then your first lap, while you are setting a lap, you just don't want to overdo it. Second lap is quicker. These guys have 10 minutes, so yes, I'll double out lap. But for officials, we only get 2 laps. I'm not having a one-off attempt through the bus stop. I'm not that brave.
Thomas Hansen saying 25.7 pole. Is that the time that he's anticipating? Because that's 1.7 seconds faster than anything we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's been watching IMS this week, but what did someone say the temp was? 32 track. No one's doing a 25.7.
No.
Well, QT is quick.
I think he might get into 26s, but yeah, I think that'll be as good as it gets.
Yeah. I think 26.8 would be pole.
There you go. This is the stage that we got into because Marte's been so dominant in qualifying. It's not even a question of yes, he's going to get pole. It's what time is Marte going to do? Yeah, sure, I'll go for a 26.6. Our competence in the man. It's going to be Nick Madsen the first across the line, our race winner from last time out, and then it will be Wilson and Marte. Marte standing or starting this part back. I guess he's going to get a little bit of a drop on the car ahead.
Yeah, then the dirty air into 1, that's the catch. But then good draft here. But to be honest, it may be too much if he doesn't clear him. Oh, no, he's going to have to abandon that.
So he was actually pushing that first lap, I'd say, then. He wasn't doing a double warm-up, and well, at least it doesn't seem like he was because it was a very quick lap. He's just short of the 26s, 0.4 of a second faster than Balázs Turovsky and Dan Kraft, going second place out of the pros so far.
Yeah, it's looking good. Trying to think what I was doing, 27.2, 27.1, but it was a little hotter, you know, and the pressure's on. Yeah, they got 10 minutes. These guys, they're chilled. But no, brilliant lap by Marteau. 27.4. Wait, so that puts Turovsky at the moment in second. Am I seeing that right? Or
yes.
Wait, no, because it says 27.4. Then Dawson's 27.2. Am I seeing that wrong on my screen?
You might be right, actually. I don't know what's going on with our timer screen, but yeah, for some reason Turovsky's coming up ahead. But
okay, so it's still in the mix though, top 4.
Yeah, and second row of the grid is sort of where he's been a resident of so far. Dawson maybe with an invalidated lap time, perhaps. Could be. I'm not sure. We'll see when the grid is formed. But anyway, yeah, Marte certainly pole position. No Matt Watson, he is back out on circuit now, and G. Dawson does now. Our time screen does update, so he is up into second position now. Dan Kraft is crossing the line. That looks like a much better time for Kraft. This could be, yes it is, pole position, 26.88 for Dan Kraft. That is a very nice time. He really improved on all those sectors, and I think, yeah, patiently going for that big second lap worked well for him. Valencia as well, moving up to 10th.
Yeah, as long as we keep the craft and the craft apart, it makes our job easier. Brilliant lap. 26.8, 27.0, 27.2. This is very tight. Very tight.
Kraft himself is improving. I think this might be good enough for top 5 maybe for Philip Kraft. And it's 4th position for Philip Kraft. Half a second off the pace.
Yeah, it still leaves Tarowski in a really good position, sitting P5 in the overall. Again, at the moment, as it stands, with a 4-car gap between him and the closest AM driver.
Aaron Smith's had a tumultuous.
Tumultuous? That's very good word.
Where's the churn? What's the turn? He's been having an issues in this qualifying session. Well, I say issues. I think he may have invalidated a couple of laps. But he's currently in 21st place. And this is Aaron Smith, who was right in the running for the race win back at Spa. Before he started with too little fuel. He started with IMSA fuel rather than a full tank, and it cost him 10 seconds at the pit stop. And so he lost him any chance on that occasion. Expect him to be up in the top 10 really in this qualifying session. He's on a warm-up lap at the moment, but he's just about setting underway.
Yeah, my man predicted for pole is sitting 8th, so I'm hoping he's got a lot of pace left in him. Viella is down in 7th, so we're seeing some big names. And Madsden down in 6th, so a lot can change. We know those 3 are very quick. And not Paul Busby is way down. Looks like he hasn't actually got a clean, proper flying lap in, to be honest, with a 28.1. But let's see, so all to change.
I think Marteau's currently on a fast lap. He is, but only one personal best sector, so I'm not expecting this to be
It was a
much.
big improvement, though. If we look at his sector 3 time, he is 6 tenths quicker than the pole time in that
I'm not sure if that's necessarily Kraft's best.
Oh, is that last?
Time. Yeah.
Copy.
Let's see if Marteau does anything. He's just approaching the line at the moment. It's not a personal best final sector, and yeah, a couple of tenths off. So it's looking like maybe Marteau's run of pole positions could well be coming to an end here, because Dan Kraft has his number at this stage of the qualifying session.
Yeah, very impressive. What's Daniel Kraft's iRating? Do we know?
I think we can. It is 6.6.
Ah, okay. All right. Carry on.
Well, did you think you may be higher than him?
I thought it was lower.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. No reason.
Yeah, Kraft. I think Kraft does a lot of league racing as well, so I think he could be even higher than what he is.
That's impressive. That explains the lap time.
He was very competitive back in the Aces Apex Racing League Endurance Championship, winning the team's title with Pure Sims Esports.
Oh, it's Pure Sims. Right, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Is this another improvement? No, it is not, but maybe that was a warm-up lap, and he's going for another push one here. Marteau, I think, is on his last lap. Yeah, this is it for Marteau.
Yeah,
he's
good
got a
looking
personal best first sector and a personal best third sector.
Yep, looking positive, looking very positive. That second sector looks like it's good as well, 13.4. So yeah, this is going to be close. Again, starting second might be a wise choice. He's proved pole hasn't helped once. Let's see.
Very close to the 0x through the final corner, as he needed to be to get the most time. Is it enough for pole? It is not. It is 1.5 hundredths slower than his previous best lap.
Wow.
And so it is just second place for Thiago Marteau. And it looks like it's going to be Dan Kraft, because no one else is improving enough to challenge him.
No. And seeing some big names quite far down the order. Paul Busby 13th. Joshua did improve up to 8th.
Max Voss was very good in qualifying practice. He's down in 11th place overall.
Could just be tricky. It's a short lap. For someone messed up the bus stop in front of you, it's your lap over. It's just the nature of the beast here. And not to mention the draft, well, benefit here, the dirty air is not. The last couple of corners, you really want space in front of you.
This is looking real nice for Joshua Wilson. 3 personal best sectors out of 4. If he can improve by just half a tenth, that would get him up a row on the grid. Any more than that might be ambitious, but I think this will be good enough for at least 6th position for Wilson. And in fact, he gets an extra one. He gets up to 5th position, so that's nice work. He's still behind Turoshki, the AM, but 5th place in the Prince.
So close from 4th to 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Because the combined things, it's hard. There is 5 of them, very close, separated by thousandths. Very close. But brilliant pole time in the end, 2/10 ahead of P2. Trotsky starting 5th.
Yep.
He'll be happy with that.
Dawson improved by a few thousandths on that last lap, but not really enough to make any difference on the timing board. I think maybe Busby. Yeah, so did you say Busby improving? Or I think he, yeah, up to 12.
We've had Thomas in chat trying to correct his. Yes. No, sir. first guest only.
Oh, he was wrong anyway. So. Although I was saying that you'd get into the 26s, Mate, it didn't happen. It was Kraft, the only man into the 26s. Oh, Viella moves up to 7th place. He gets ahead of this man, Madsen.
Madsen's now out there. Yeah, he is. And if we remember rightly, where was it? He was the last man out in qualifying and managed to. Yeah, it was last week. He went from like 11th to 3rd or 11th to 4th on the very, very last out in last car. To see if we can see a repeat here.
Well, this is 3 personal best sectors out of 4 for him. First sector, though, leaving quite a bit on the table. He lost 2/10 to the pole time in the first sector alone.
Yeah, no.
Oh, was that a hit?
I think that was. Yeah. Oof.
No, it wasn't. There you go. Goes up to 4th.
Oh, we did it again.
Wow.
Definitely sounded our end like there was a bit of a wall clang.
Yeah, I mean, it's German servers and he's Danish, but seemingly still a slight discrepancy when it came to the latency there. And yeah, he does improve to 4th place, but Stan Kraft on pole position for this round of the championship ahead of Marte and Dawson and Madsen. Kraft, Philip Pirati in 5th, and then Blaž Trotsky top of the AMS once again. Then it's Joshua Wilson, Lorenzo Zoffoli, Andrea Viella, Simone Nucera is 2nd place out of the AMS. Then it's Ross, Valencia Smith, Cullen, Bay, Busby, Silva, Preto, Vilbrink, Ibram Devan, Hutchinson, Van Helden, Mafakwa, Costa, Seagrave, and Loy, rounding out the LMDH drivers. In the LMP3s, we've got Remy Fortin looking for his 2nd race win in a row. Championship leader Dan Sedgley behind him. Adam State still going for that 1st race victory in 3rd. Top of the Evo drivers are Tom Stevens. He's ahead of Bob Humphrey. Paul Joseph close for Olympus is 6th. There's Kev Copeland, Joseph Saul, Kevin Smith, and Brian Robinson rounding out the 10-car field.
You nailed the names. I'm impressed.
What can I say? What can I say? I can't speak any languages, but I can pronounce some foreign names.
You did really well.
Well, we've got the full formation lap for the drivers to enjoy, to get a little bit of extra heat in the tyres. Does that make any difference whatsoever?
No, I mean, it'll be the opposite. They will not be weaving or wiggling. They will be clutching and rolling here.
Okay.
This... You just want to keep your tyres cold here. It's the opposite, I would say, in LMP. So I don't know about LMP3, really, but here we just don't want to put any heat through our tyres.
Is it that because of the heats of the track, or is that under any
It's just the nature of the track, this track here. Just the load you're putting it on under an hour. They're going to take tyres. For sure, they're going to take rears, I think. IMSA was hard enough. I actually got a tyre warning. Now, I was involved in an accident, so I was in a half spin, but I got the tyre warning before the end of the race.
Is that 10%?
No, I think it's like 35. Don't quote me.
Oh, is it?
It's higher than that. I just don't remember what.
Sure.
But it just means you're eating your tyres, and it's quite dangerous. Because you know there's a meatball, right, at 0 now. You can now get the... It's been there for a while, but when you get to 0, you get the meatball flag.
Well, didn't you get a puncture?
Yeah. But you get the meatball flag, but when you come in and change your tyres, the meatball instantly clears.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the 6 out?
It seems like Viella has had an issue.
So he needs to plug in his pedals.
Yeah. Or plug in his monitors. Something's not going right for him. Yeah, well, if he can get back going, then he can retake his position, no problem. Albeit it's always a little bit nervy.
Yeah, very nervy.
This is when the long pace up might work out for him, because as long as he's getting going by the time that they get to about the heel, then he should be able to catch in time.
Yeah, it's very slow pace lap here. It's awful. Way too slow.
Joshua Wilson as well, I'm seeing actually at the back with issues. Viella retaking his position, but yeah, I think Wilson actually starting from the pit lane, so disappointment for him.
There we go. Got our very own Zabo in chat telling us, yeah, the long high-speed corners just overheat the tyres. But yeah, so that's why you're just not going to see all the weaving nonsense from the good drivers anymore. The ones that know, the ones that know what's what.
Yeah.
And they should be clutching. Importantly, they should be clutching.
And that decreases the temperature as well, doesn't it?
No, just sorry.
Just less fuel.
Yeah, no, it doesn't use less fuel. It just lets you roll.
Yeah.
If you just lift off your throttle, the engine brake kicks in. Then you're going to have to apply some throttle to get rolling again. So yeah, it's not. I always try and tell people clutching has nothing to do with fuel saving, even though it is used in the same procedure.
Sure. Yeah.
But it just means you can travel quicker.
Have you ever tried using that in a race at all? I know some people have.
All race long.
Oh, all race as well?
Yeah,
Not just on the formation?
No, I use in the race, yeah. Okay. Into one, I clutch. If the corners are very like more traditional corner, like a 90-degree turn, like T1, more traditional corner, not high-speed corner, just clutch in, yeah. Means you can carry some extra speed down the hill. Downhill and clutching is nigh on any different than just slamming the throttle and lifting just before you brake. And to be honest, it does keep the tyres cooler, but because you're setting up the car's weight distribution a little bit better, when you go to brake, your car's leaning forward a bit more. It goes onto the brakes better.
Sure.
You do have to be careful of not just coming off the clutch and going onto the brake, because the clutch release can unsettle the car, and then if you're transferring onto the brake, it can screw things up a little bit. Like Road Atlanta, you see that a lot, people doing that, where they clutch so far, like 400-500.
Yeah, with that downhill section.
Yeah, exactly. But again, you can see people with a yeet off the clutch and then try and turn and brake, all goes wrong. So as long as there's just a bit of time, as we're getting ready to round the last corner.
Dan Kraft in control of the field. He can go anywhere between the start of the pit wall and the start-finish line. So he has to wait, but once he's past that, those tyres on the left side of the circuit, then he should be fine. And now this is where the field is completely in his control and looking for his first race win of the season. Oh dear, dearie me. That is a huge impact at the back of the order, and many drivers are going to need to take faster pairs after that. Fortunately, the LMP3s have got a gap.
Hopefully.
But some drivers just going out the back very early there, it looked like. Fortan, meanwhile, in control of the LMP3s, and these guys are much more safely away. Looks like a good start actually for P3 from that. Dan Sedgey, I think, trying to get past Adam States as it stands. Yeah, they'll sort themselves out as they go up the hill for the first time. It looks like State has been able to get past Sedgley on that.
Yeah, that looks like just one person broke the procedure for when you go and others copy. Because that's your reference is whoever's around you. If they start going, you start going. You feel, and that just clustered up, unfortunately, at the beginning there.
And that meant that we lost Viella, Busby, Wilson, Lucera, Smith, Voss, and Cullen, all from contention. They'll need to take faster pairs, and they won't be able to get to the end of the race either. They will have to pit later on as well, and they're going to be a lap behind before the race barely starts.
Were they towing? Can you see if they drove back or towed?
I think, all the ones that I listed are driving back, apart from Wilson. Looks like Wilson and Voss are the only ones. Oh, as we've now got a little bit more context as well, and that is into the wall for one of our LMDHs there. That was Hugo Preto.
Yeah.
And is he going to have to go into the pits as well?
He definitely is, yes. I'm 100% positive that body's slamming the wall there. Would you have been tempted to reverse and to serve the fast? Because you're what, 6 foot?
I think you get DQ'd.
Yeah, but if you reverse slowly and roll, you can get away with it. I tested it accidentally when I drove 20 foot past my pit guy.
If you were very confident the LMP3s weren't anywhere near you, you could maybe go for it.
I forgot about them. Yes, don't reverse.
So, out in the leads, top 4, all the exact same. Kraft leading Marteau, Dawson and Madsen. Turoshki still leader of the LMDH AMS. It's been a good start for Silver in the LMDH AMS. And yeah, many of our drivers coming back into the pits for the LMDHs, including Viella, Vilbrink, Valencia, Preto, and yeah, many of the others that I mentioned earlier on. Here is Sedgley, who's got back past State. So Sedgley back up into second place. He lost that off the start. Still Remy Fortan marginally ahead of his LMP3 rivals.
Yeah, there's a pack of 4 of them holding on tight to each other. We're going to see how it is with the first time through the traffic. We haven't done this, obviously, this pairing of 2 cars. But I don't foresee it too much trouble. It's just when you get, 4 LMDHs on top of 4 LMP3s, a few people will lose out a lot of time. So question, these start procedures, do you think some people they know what to do, they know when to go, but when they see the green flag, it's just full adrenaline?
Well, you probably know better. Where is the green flag here? Because I think the green flag came out probably a while before we saw that launch.
No, so in the officials, the safety car would branch. The safety car would branch in. We would be going same speed, but no, it's. I would
Still
say
fairly late.
Yeah, it's still quite late. Yeah.
Yeah, it might just be a reaction then on that case. But you're absolutely right in terms of you're reacting to the person in front of you, and so once someone as sort of fully spins around, and he's got away with it. Yeah,
that's
got
what
away
I meant.
with it.
The grass, this new grass, can make things look really cool, because that would have been, that would have been a complete front and rear of his car removed into the wall. But we're seeing grass really change tracks. Road Atlanta T1. If you miss it and you touch the grass, you can now drive up the hill on the grass and just rejoin, like losing 0.6 of a second. That's it, and you're back in. Maybe you lost 1 position, whereas before you just drive into the wall. No, if, no buts. Doesn't matter if you brake in or turn in. And try and get a replay of that start.
Yeah, we are working on that at the moment. But yeah, there are a lot of perspectives, lots to catch on that one. In terms of what's happening at the moment, though, this is probably one of the closest battles out on circuit at the moment. In fact, actually, Sedgley and States, what has happened to Sedgley and State? This could be fantastic news for Remy Fortin and the other LMP3 drivers, because Sedgley and State have had an incident. And yeah, I'm sure we'll get a replay of that as well later on. But both cars seem fairly clean. I wonder if that was at the bus stop, perhaps.
Could have been. If one loses, the other, there's nowhere to go. Let's see. Yeah, Fortin has quite the lead now.
Yeah, Sedgley didn't lose that much time. He lost 5 seconds.
Yeah.
State a few more. State lost more, like 9 seconds. And it means that Tom Stevens, running as high as he's run all season, in 2nd place as it stands. Was a good qualifying for him, in 4th, to be fair. And yeah, picking up on those incidents ahead of him. Yeah,
I mean, Kraft isn't just putting in that 1 lap. He's keeping QT back. He's out of draft, 1.6 back. Dawson closely following behind Madsden. So we've still got the top 6 there, closely following each other. Like you say. Oh, you're good. All right, replay of the start. Let's see. This is the exciting bit. See if we can work out who did what here. Okay,
so
looks
I think
good.
So it was. I know that there was a driver going on the inside, but it was this red car that we were following. That's and in fact, actually, I think it may have been Smith then who we were watching along.
Let's have a look. Yeah. So his 1 rev of 10 kp. So he didn't really.
Well, he sort of went.
Yeah, but he did re-slow.
Go again.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why he went go again.
He probably saw the green, revved, and then was like, "Oh, what am I doing?" But the problem is, everyone behind him can't see. Like, all they see is him speeding up. They can't see the leader. They can't. So everyone behind then goes, and that's why he was the one who got hit.
But I don't think he was hit behind.
Oh, yeah, I think he was.
Oh, you think he was? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. His car shunted left and right. I think he calls the, not ripple, what's the word? The Constantina effect.
Constantina, yeah.
And I meant it was green, he went, lifted, was like, whoa, careful, careful, what am I doing? And then, unfortunately, everyone behind not only saw the green, they saw the guy in front rock forward. So, yeah, but we need to, yeah, that's tough to analyse from here while we're keeping an eye on so many things. This is looking really good to Trotsky, though. Sitting P5, obviously he's an AM driver. His closest competition is Diaz Silva, who's also doing very well, though. These AMs are impressing. LMD, very impressive. Every week it's not, you know, we've not had the situation where we've had, say, 8 pros with only 2 AMs in the top 10. It's almost been an even mix most races. We'll have to see what happened to, was it Sedgley and State?
Yes, yeah, with their instant seemingly at the bus stop a couple of laps ago. And yeah, that means that, as you can see in the LMP3 timing tower, Fortan leading, albeit Sedgley has been able to get back past Tom Stevens now. So that is one of the positions gained. State will be the next one. Very possible for them to make up that gap. Certainly Sedgley, who does get faster and faster as the race goes on. But credit to Remy Fortan, last time out at Road Atlanta, he had about a 2-second lead going into the final 20 minutes, and he held on to all of that 2-second lead, and then he was actually able to pull away from his rivals in those closing stages to take a well-earned first ever Apex Racing League win.
Yeah, it was a brilliant win. Very impressive. So we're seeing, if forgive me, is that the Acura craft scene? I need to top up my logos. That is right.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, good. I now know what the Acura logo is. So we're seeing BMW's Acura and Tarosky in the Caddy. I call the Caddy as the choice. I started the week with the BMW, very quick, but you had to be very precise in the bus stop. There was only one line, whereas the Caddy you could reach at mid bus stop every lap.
And here was the Sedgley States instant, and it wasn't actually at the bus stop, it was into the chute, and this was States on the inside. Oof. He's taken a bit of grass there, hasn't he, and that's caused the car to understeer slightly into the Olympus esports driver.
Yeah, but it was a quick replay, so hard to judge, but I mean, it looked like it wasn't on.
Yeah.
Came in like a wrecking ball. Is that what I'm looking for?
I think so. only 9 years old, that's.
Oh, is it? Damn it.
Zafoli is going to be overtaken by Silva, I think, pretty soon, and Tarosky might be overtaken by Philip Kraft very soon as well. The gap is just 0.2 of a second between the two of them. On that last lap, Kraft was over a 10th of a second faster than Tarosky, but at a very satisfying 30.000. Yes, could well be overtaken by Kraft imminently. He's 1.5 seconds behind Madsen. Really, everyone's staying fairly close to one another, apart from Dan Kraft, who is dominating in this early 10 minutes. 4.2 seconds clear of the rest. And then it's just a second between pretty much every other car.
Yeah, he seems to have the number on QT here. We know he's got the 1-lap pace. He's been pretty consistent every race he's been to. He's just putting it together this race right now. Obviously, luck can come and go. Like QT could have had two LMP3s just in the wrong spot that cost you a lot of time, and sometimes you can just get a few laps where you get nothing but luck. You catch them all on the straight or on the exit of a corner, but that can swing really quickly, and it's handling that, right, to keep these gaps managed that's so important at a track like this.
I think this is a slightly less frustrating circuit than Red Atlanta, at least when it comes to the traffic, because I guess you got the bus stop where you can lose a big chunk of time, but on the most part, this track is a bit like a Silverstone, where it's straight corner. It's not like Road Atlanta, where you got the S's, and you got to potentially wait behind for a while. Albeit, to be fair, last time we did see the NMDHs have the pace to make moves around that part of the circuit. So, yeah, you can certainly lose. Oh, as Marte has a bit of a slide there. Certainly lose over half a second in the bus stop. Yeah, most other places, hopefully these drivers keep their cool and don't get too aggressive. Madsen has lost out in all this traffic. His 1.5 second gap over Tarosky has been eliminated, and you now got Madsen, Tarosky, and Kraft all separated by 0.8 of a second. Yeah,
that's it. You can ebb and flow with traffic. It's brutal. I'll be interested to know their tyre strategies. I imagine it's 2 tyres. I don't think they're going to have time for 4. I could be wrong. I think Imsa was around. Now I've actually been.
Ooh, that's 3 wide in the background. Who's going to get ahead in there? And that was Philip Kraft. He's been able to make the move on Tarosky. Great work.
Yeah,
that was a bit
impressive.
of a Hakkinen-Schumacher scenario. And yeah, he's fast.
I loved that move, the Hakkinen-Schumacher. That was the 3 wide. Hakkinen got it done, right? Yeah, that was one of the best. Yeah, Hakkinen was a great driver. Yeah, so Imsa was around 32 litres of fuel, which is like 2 tyres. So yeah, maybe they can take 4 here. We'll see.
Essentially, what, like 13, 14 seconds of fuel that they take in this series, I think?
Yeah.
And then all 4 tyres is 25 odd seconds, I think. 2 tyres, obviously, about half of that. So you can get these 2 tyres for free. And I think that is genuinely what we're seeing so far this season. Even at Fuji, I think drivers were taking no tyres, weren't they? And getting stopped and just taking 8 seconds of fuel if they're able to save a little bit earlier on in the race. And that worked well. As you see, just LMDH flying past. Smith having good awareness of his surroundings. We have got a fair few supporters for this man in the chat, so hopefully they're appreciating the coverage that he's got right now, running in 6th place.
Yeah, I noticed his line in the bus stop is the complete avoidance line. That's the, you know, like I said, the closer you get to the wall, the easier. He didn't even contemplate the curb itself, which is going to cost him a lot of time, but does guarantee he will finish in one piece. Well, at least not in the bus stop.
Yeah. Does look a bit faster than Joseph Salt, just riding on board. On that last lap, he was half a second faster, and his best lap is actually 1.3 seconds faster than Saul. So I wonder if Smith was maybe involved in something earlier on. He did start behind Saul as well, should be noted, but in race pace does seem to have an advantage. So you have a couple more corners to go on this lap. They've got Kev Copeland a couple of seconds behind, then Brian Robinson and Paul Joseph Clist and Bob Humphrey rounding out this field. Unfortunately, Humphrey are 1 retiree so far in this race. Not sure what happened to Humphrey. Qualified decently in 5th place, but out of the race within 2 laps.
Yeah, big shame. He had a good result last week, if I remember rightly. Let's keep an eye on Madston and Kraft still 4 and 5, still holding him back. Obviously, overtaking isn't the easiest of things here, especially if you're stuck behind a caddy, but you don't seem to have many of them. Well, the caddies are together, Tarosky and Zafoli. I think I pronounced that right.
Zafoli?
Yep. Oh no, Zafoli. Okay, got it.
As though I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, we'll see what happened to Bob Humphrey.
Uh-oh. He's going to take the curb, I imagine, here.
Yeah, that's full bump. So, yeah. You either go to the wall or you avoid it. That's it, you mustn't full bump. That's the problem. That's the biggest issue. So this is the problem when people are first trying this track and they're getting told what to do. In race conditions, you give a little bit away from that wall. You don't want to go near the wall for an hour. But the problem is, the less confident you get to go towards the wall, the closer you get to the bump. And as you saw, there is no saving it.
Yeah, I think as well, Humphrey, very late to the practice session, saying maybe a little bit not able to quite put as many laps as he wants to do this evening.
Let's see Farquhar in the pits. That's a bit early, right? Probably it would be too early for fuel, I think. So.
He could. Oh no, that's why. I think fuel is the least of his worries.
Also, I'm guessing he hasn't ticked his fast repair because his car will be instantly healed, right?
He might be towing back right now.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But yeah, I think when it comes to fuel, pour some fuel on that thing and burn it. And get moving, I think is his best course of action.
Correct.
This is very close between Wilson, Kreitze and Busby. Almost 3 wide into turn 1, and Wilson leaving a car's width on the inside, taking a swooping line, and he remains ahead. But now he is very vulnerable from behind. He'll try to cover off the inside, but with traffic up ahead as well, that might be easier said than done. There goes one of the LMP3s. There goes another one of the LMP3s, and they go either side and manage to not meet in the middle. Brilliant
he gets
move
it
there
done.
From Hugo Kreitze, who swept around the outside, had enough straight line capabilities, and in the end Busby loses out to his own teammate. Apologies, Wilson loses out to his own teammate, Paul Busby, at the end.
Impressive, very impressive. I mentioned the caddy's quick, but that was caddy on caddy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the caddy's an animal in straight line. Going to have quite the advantage at Le Mans, I think we'll say. Let's say, we'll let Owen do the bot test, but that's going to be interesting to broadcast. Can't wait for that. Lots of 2 wides.
Yes.
Who am I kidding? I've watched a few of these races. Lots of 3 wides.
Here we go. This is another move into the bus stop, maybe.
Never.
He needs to be much further. I mean, he was behind.
Yes.
On the outside was Kraft. But after getting past Tarosky earlier on, using the traffic, it might be similar means in order for him to move up into 4th position again. And he's much later on the brakes. Is the 1-3-3 looking very confident.
See, it's interesting, a race this long, an hour.
No, what, look behind. Tarosky's. It's Tarosky who's made contact. I wonder if he's got damage.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we should say, the I think, is that McFarquhar who was involved? Or maybe Paul Joseph Clist, one of the 2, I believe.
As we see Joshua come into the pits, hopefully he's not getting quote-unquote fuel again.
It was Clist. I wonder maybe if the LMDH has come in behind, looked to the right. Clist has thought that he's going to the left maybe and pulled to the right in order to let him past, and they've both gone for the same bit of circuit. That's what I'm
It
guessing.
happened to me this week, happens to everyone. It's tough because, yeah, the slower class usually does go to the left, but obviously if it's too close, then obviously they're hesitating correctly, because the faster class can go left, get clear at the apex and be gone. So, yeah, you need to be careful with your body language on that apex curb to sort of signal to the car behind what you're going to be doing.
Is this going to be a change here? Marseille taking a wider line, and he lets his teammate Andrew Dawson past. So it's Dawson now the lead race clutch driver.
That looked like a Ferrari engineered maneuver if I've ever seen one before.
It's not a good sign if it is, with their success rates. Well, already the gap at 6 tenths of a second. Certainly Marto is at his most confident. Last week, I think at Red Atlanta with him preparing for Petit Le Mans, he was absolutely on top form. This week, maybe not quite being able to put in the same number of laps. And yeah, well, Race Culture, you've got to get creative here if they're going to win this race, because Kraft looks to have their number at this 1/3 stage of the race.
Yeah, I wonder if QT's gone with a fuel strat here, and having his teammate who was catching up just in front of him helps him save that little bit more. I don't know, because their gap to the leader is quite substantial, but they know in a click of a finger that can be eaten up by LMP3s easily. So maybe he's going for fuel, or maybe, like you say, he's just not got the confidence and he's letting his teammate go for it. We're seeing Fortin with a almost 10-second lead, dominant run. Sedgley State separated by 2 seconds. We saw what happened to them. For them to recover and be second and third goes to show that gap we mentioned about between the top 4 usually.
Yeah, Stevens is the closest driver, isn't he? But he's half a second a lap back slower than those drivers, maybe even more like a second. Well, here's attempt number 3 from Kraft, and this time he has got his nose ahead, and I think he's going to try. No, he does back out of it. It would have been very unwise, and you can see there just being put offline. It loses his orientation, loses his bearings, and he loses a second.
See, this is what I'm saying. With an hour-long race, you better be a lot quicker than the guy in front that you're doing this to, because you are both losing a bucket load of time, absolute tons of time, by constantly putting your opponent offline on because neither of them have gone through the bus stop with any competency at the moment, because they're side by side, they're both hesitant, they're both lifting, they're both taking poor lines. We saw the send into the next corner. It's interesting. You do this near the end when you're going for that one position. But right now, with fueling not done, there's lots of traffic that can ebb and flow the gaps. They're just costing themselves huge. So
Adam Hedgecock in the chat saying, nah, Ferrari wouldn't have been able to make a switch like that without messing it up.
it's a good point. I did give Ferrari way too much credit there. They are not on the level of race clutch.
Philip Kraft into the pits. That's a little bit early, but maybe he's had enough. He's thought, no, I'm not going to be able to pass Madsen. Madsen. And he is, into the pits. And for Garicki Motorsport, we'll take maybe 2 tyres. Well, we'll see how long he's stationing for. This is going to be a representative time. Viella and Busby were both stationing for 20 and 21 seconds. Smith stationing for 40 seconds and Cullen stationing for 43. So we've got quite a range. I think that 20 to 21 is much more representative.
Philip Kraft cannot take tyres. He's come in too soon, right? He's got a ton of fuel in the tank. It's not like he's going to be...
Well, he may as well take 2 tyres, I guess.
I don't think he can. Well, without paying for them.
Well, he's still stationary.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, how much life was he actually taking out in 20 minutes, and how much tank space he had? Like, it's... I don't know.
Well, I think he's picked up a penalty now as Kraft, or maybe he's got something else because he's stationing for 35 seconds. And maybe he's sped.
I don't know.
No, he hasn't. Well, he hasn't sped. 38.1. Maybe he's underfueled. I mean, maybe that's why he's come in so early. So he's underfueled, and that's the fuel that he needs to get to the end of the race, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know. I've tried guessing all these crazy strats every week, and I never get close.
He was very close to the pit exit line as well. I hope he hasn't gone over that. I remember Sabelt Esports 91 in the ASUS ARL Endurance Championship a few months ago had a P1 or maybe just a P2. I think it was a fight for P1. They went beyond that white line, or yellow line, sorry, in their final stint and got a penalty, and it ruined their race. So can happen.
Yeah, I think I would wait for about minute 35 before the tyres, like you can keep them almost peaked for that long, and then jump in, take 2 rears for free, fill up to the end, and I think that's what I would go for. Unless you do get the 4 for free, I don't think so.
No, I don't think you do. Well, Siri Sabe is saying, to be fair, that if they get the strategy right, they'll be able to change 4 tyres.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Too soon for 4 tyres, though, now, right? Way too soon. And as well, like, you're putting on these fresh tyres that you're still asking to go a full IMSA length. That's the problem with coming in this early.
Yeah.
You haven't even used up the ones you've got on you.
Might have a change of position for 5th place in the LMP3s. I think Joseph Saul may have had an issue because he's lost. No, actually, I was going Saul and Stevens mixed up. This is absolutely just representative. Smith 3/10 of a second back. But actually, no, we tuned in on these guys a few laps ago, and Smith, every time I look down, is half a second a lap faster, and he always seems to be half a second behind. So it's still Saul in 5th position.
Yeah, I really did think the LMP3s would have... Is it open set?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I really did expect the draft to be stronger in LMP3s up to the bus stop. So maybe we'll follow along with his seed in a little bit and see how it looks. I know LMDH, the draft, is definitely a bit muted. Oof. So Foley played with his life there, pitting when someone's right behind you. You have all the laps in the entire race you could pick, and he picked one when someone was in bumper. That was extremely unwise.
A few drivers discussing earlier on how best to deal with that. Maybe just posting a message in the YouTube chat to signal I'm in this lap. But
no, I don't like text chat. If someone says pass left, I take them on the right and tell them don't tell me what to do.
I dislike that. But generally, it's very rare that you see anyone post stuff like that who's more than 2K.
Correct.
I'm sounding very snobby right now. But
no, but I don't like that pass left, pass right.
No.
You should do it all on body language, not text chat. I'm not reading that rubbish on an entry to a corner.
But yeah, I think the pit in is the one bit of text chat that I can understand, particularly when it comes to ovals.
I think the rule should just be, we have it in other tracks, like Brands Hatch, if you breach crossing the line on in or out, it's a penalty. Here at the Watkins Glen, for some reason, you can cross the entry line. I think you should have to be on the right before the corner. That I don't know if you've seen, there is a pit entry line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think you should be over on the right and stay within the line, then we'd have 0 accidents. The reason none of us do it is because you don't have to, and it's really slow to do it. I got taken out last season. I did what Sir Foley did, which was extremely unwise, and that's pit with someone right on your bumper.
Watching Kraft trying to pass Smith. I feel like we might have a replay very soon, and it was another red car being involved in an incident. I think it may have been Smith. But if anything, seeing that the car that I was seeing on the replay was in a million pieces, and Smith's car is in one piece, maybe it wasn't Smith. But Kraft, anyway, with an extra pit stop basically complete. Kraft can go to the end of the race. Smith taking repairs on lap 1, and that is why he is around there. He does need to take another pit stop later on.
Yeah, that's it. If you come in early, you can't fuel up any more than your tank, which was... Tanks are limited, right, in LMDH? LMP3, sorry?
LMP3, yes, limited to 70%. LMDH, full, no limits.
Dawson's making good ground. He has, when they made that Ferrari manoeuvre, they're now 3 seconds apart. So, I mean, QT maybe has picked up some damage somewhere, or, like you mentioned, just no confidence. And that's what you need. Right, let's bring you some replays. This is Clist being... I'm not sure what happened. Maybe Clist was eyeing up a pit, but...
Well, you had an LMDH, I think, on his outside to Clist.
But at the end of the day, the LMDH bowled him.
Yeah. Next to the bowling banner, I reckon.
And that's the bus stop LMDH. We're going to see that a few times. Oh, the damage model does look good on iRacing. We now have a Peugeot.
And this is... so this was the red car, and Valencia hitting Wilbrink. So Wilbrink spinning back across the circuit.
The Peugeot didn't hold his brakes. That's how I see that.
I think so.
No, it's
we
hard
had
to.
a really similar one to that in the Endurance Championship, actually. Which,
No, I mean, in the slow-mo, it looked like he won't hold his brakes, but he could be travelling 108 kph flying across the track. So in slow-mo, we're very quick to judge that he just was rolling.
You need a bit more context, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. But lots of Peugeots.
One for us to prepare for each of these drivers, fortunately, but dare I say, one or two of them have burned through that already.
Yeah, a few.
Kraft is still yet to pass Smith, by the way. Getting a bit held up in 9th place. They're not really in the same race, and I imagine Kraft's getting a bit frustrated not being able to overtake so far.
Yeah, for sure. It is tough to overtake here. Very tough. What's the car model he's chasing? Is it a Caddy? Because that's probably the hardest to overtake here.
It is.
Yeah, it's just their trait is coming off the corner quick. As long as you can manage the throttle, they just step off the corner very quickly. And yeah, it's in the Acura Craft, so that's actually the slowest off the corner. So very tricky. A track like this, the Acura almost has turbo lag. It's the best way to describe the sensation of the Acura. You really got to preload that throttle a lot earlier than you normally would, whereas the Caddy has turbo boost off the corner. Doesn't make it easy though. It can step out on you for getting it wrong.
Adam Hedgecock saying, Hutchinson having another solid race. Always great to see. Knowing full well that that will trigger us to show Hutchinson and allow us to show Hedgecock's livery. So we see what you're doing there, Adam, and you're fooling no one. I think he was flashing his lights and he's saying, hey, hey, thanks, Mr. Producer, even though he knew what was.
Yep, Mark's looking good. Up 4 positions from the start.
I think this would be his best overall result of the season, wouldn't it? 7th place, albeit obviously we've had a few drivers behind him who've already made their pit stops, but Hutchinson was very quick back at Fuji, led in the AMS in stages, but didn't quite work out for him. I think he had a good run at Atlanta as well, not a good Spa, and so a mixed season. As Aaron Smith's nearly in the wall, and this is against Kraft. Kraft has already made his pit stop, remember. Smith has made a pit stop, but not his last pit stop. Kraft's got better straight line speed, and he zooms past, and I think Kraft was very... Oh, no, now Kraft has lost the car, and he's going to have to do that overtake all over again.
Oh, these guys, this is funny. Neither of them are able to take the apex line you need in the bus stop, so they're coming out of the corner in whole new lines carrying way too much exit speed. And that's a serious problem. That slide there is that's gonna add 15 minutes of race duration on those rear tyres.
Yeah.
In an hour-long race, you just don't want that. No way. And now I know which craft you meant. This 2 craft issues causing an issue.
Yeah.
So we've got State chasing Sedgley, is this? This has been the battle of LMP3. I would say these two have had the most airtime battling each other, would you say?
Yeah.
Out of anyone.
Yeah, not just the LMP3s, but yeah, the whole field. Generally, it's Sedgley who wins out, even if it's State who's fast in the early stages. Sedgley, one way or another, beats him. I think that's been the case in all 3 races so far this season. And so State does need to get back some points tonight, and he wants to do that, needs to overtake him. Did just set his best lap of the race. These guys, though, slower than Remy Fortin. They lost, well, Sedgley lost 5 seconds earlier on due to a spin. State lost the best part of 10 seconds, but frankly, they're both slower than Fortin out in the lead, so Fortin's very much deserved that race lead as it stands. But yes, State is faster if we're judging it by the last 20 minutes of pace.
Yep, it's tough. They're definitely going to start feeling the impact of the tyres now. We're half an hour in. And with the traffic, that's it. You can get 5-6 laps in a row of just bad luck, and it'll build such frustration because you know you've got the car under you, know you've got the momentum, but you're just not able to show it because you lose time here, there, and everywhere with traffic. But that's just the nature of multi-class. Does look like he's getting a much better run here than Sedgley. Much better run. I wouldn't say if it's a long by side. I'm not sure of the draft here, but I'm thinking this is easy.
He'll be able to get at least a long side. Let's see if he's got much momentum once he pulls out into clean air. I think the Olympus Esports driver is still going to have the edge here. He's got his nose just about ahead and actually backs out of it, does Sedgley. Lifts out of the Thotzelin. State's moves through into second place, and now he will want to build a gap as much as he possibly can before the pit stops occur.
Oh, Paul Busby is in. Scheduled stop, I suppose. Where is he on the track? Yep. We'll keep an eye on the pit duration time. I did notice Zafoli came in for just a mere 22 seconds, so maybe that's the benchmark for no tyres and just fuel.
I think that, yeah, I think that's a good reference. We've seen some really long ones, but I don't think that was deliberate.
That's what Paul's doing. Nice.
He's a while, isn't he? 25?
Yeah.
25.7.
2 tyres. I'm going to guess 2 tyres is that.
You don't think it's 4? I mean, tyres must be 26 seconds, right?
What, all 4? I'm not sure. No,
At least in GT3s, it's like 25
maybe.
to 27, I think.
But they're coming in pretty much when I said I'd pit on 35.
Yeah.
Unlike Zafoli, I'd definitely do it without someone on my bumper.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've gone in the pit road backwards before, and I've blamed them. You watch the replay, and what am I doing? Basically, I'm brake checking someone coming into the last. Well, they don't know I'm going to do it. These teammates, Busby and Joshua, yeah, the effect simulations. They're both good guys, actually. I've raced these guys a metric ton. Both of them very fast, very nice guys.
And that is Wilson moving past them. So, of course, they're both going to the end of the race. I'm surprised Wilson's gone ahead, considering he's got older tyres, and I think Busby's earned that position, but they seem to think that Wilson is faster. Mars saying it's 4 tyres, and Hansen saying 4 tyres in LMP3 is just 22.6 seconds. I'm surprised it's actually that short for the LMP3s. But yes, seems like it is 4 tyres, albeit Sedgley has just been stationary for 19.3, so I guess that's not 4 tyres. Could be 3, probably 2. So
3. I'd like to see someone do it with 3. That's a good pit stop. That's fuel saving as well. Fuel saving, no tyres. But yeah, we have seen a quite diversity on the pit stop. That's one thing that surprised me in these league races. In IMSA, we see maybe 1.2 second deviation from the entire field on pit stop times. Here, it can be like 16 seconds difference. Although I'm assuming something went wrong with the 40 and the 38. I can't quite work out what that's for.
I don't know what happened to it. I think Kraft underfueled at the start. I think that's it, because he came in so early.
Yeah.
But yeah, even, I mean, when did he come in? It was lap 14, so that's like, oh no. And that's, I mean, how has Biella not ended up in the wall there? And the 374s coming back for more.
Someone's on a single spot.
That was Brian Robinson there. And I mean, that was lucky, because they merged into one another. I was fully expecting him to be pinged into the wall and onto the grass and then into one another.
Correct, yeah. I mean, you just cannot change lanes that late. The LMP3, sure, he was entitled to the outside, but he was in the middle of the track. LMDH sees him doing this, comes to the racing line, and then the LMP3 just comes over. Right under braking. But yeah, very lucky. Anyway, they both continue, it's all fine. So Dawson 6 seconds back from Kraft. QT a further 5 seconds back. So it looks like the swap was a wise decision. Mazda another 5 back from them. Tarowski hanging on to Mazda no, so that'd be interesting to watch. Then the big gap then is to Hutchinson. A little bit out on his own. He's got 5 seconds behind. Is that 4.5, 5 seconds behind him? Is Zafoli? Zafoli? I think I'm saying that right this time.
Well, I say it's Zafoli.
Zafoli,
but that might be wrong.
Let's assume you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Let's any Italian speakers last night. Lorenzo. I'm confident on Lorenzo. Zafoli or Zafoli.
Yeah, so what am I saying? Zafoli, you're saying Zafoli.
Zafoli.
Okay, we'll wait for an Italian to tell us who's correct. Just see some MDHs getting through traffic there. That looks like Sedgley. It's getting passed by, who we got there on track? Tarowski?
Yeah, Tarowski's still only second behind Madsen. He has been a second behind Madsen for a while, albeit he did gain by about 3/10 that last tour. We are getting to the territory of everyone needing to pit, and Kraft has decided to come into the pits now. He's not going to go any further now. Has Dawson and Marto work some magical fuel strat? Well, Dawson's been able to go an extra lap at least, and it looks like Marto is going to do the same thing as well. So they got an extra lap, but I'm not sure if that's even necessarily an advantage, honestly, with the fresh tyres that Kraft is going to yield in just a few moments.
Yeah, we shall see. I'm just looking at the pit stop times in LMP3. We see Sedgley with looking very quick on the pit stop phase, so we'll see how State can do to handle that, because we know they're close on track. But yeah, he's got the fastest pit stop in LMP3 by 2 seconds, 19 seconds 30. Very impressive. Okay, keeping an eye on Daniel Kraft's pit stop. Ends at the... Oof.
Oh, come on, Daniel. 27.15.
See, I'll never understand then what on earth's going on.
Well, yeah, why are some of them 23, one of them some... Well, I guess Safoli's just taking 2 tyres. That's all I can
Yeah,
see,
but this is...
Kraft is taking 4.
This is where I cross the line. There is no way Daniel Kraft would give up 5 seconds for 2 tyres. No way. Not 5 seconds. So, yes. I'm very confused.
States in from the lead of the... Well, apologies, from second place of the
So this
LMP3, so to his 4th time.
is going to be a pit stop time to watch. We know Sedgley did a 19 seconds, so they were separated by almost nothing, so let's keep an eye. It's going to be close. They've been close every track now. As we watch Sedgley.
18.5. Nice pit stop there for Fortan. He'll be a while ahead.
Yeah, he's had no hassle.
Essentially, in fact, is a long way away. So it might actually be that's not as close as we think. Maybe Sedgley's had an issue on his outlap.
Right, it could just be traffic wheel, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, State's going to cut the first corner as well. So yeah, State in a comfortable second position then after that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. Sedgley is... Yeah, I'm not sure. Something happened on his outlap, maybe?
Yeah, gap must be some 10 seconds or so. Madsen now next into the pits. Let's see if he stays on the tracks.
So still to pit in LMDH, Mark Hutchinson, QT, Dawson, and Tarosky, an amateur, going long. The problem with going too long is you don't get to use much of the fresh tyres. But then again, there is another reason why you would stay out that long, is because otherwise you never get to use the quali type fuel. You know, if you stay out there in at the last 2 laps of your fuel in the low tank, you get some really good pace out of the car. But you just got to see if the balance of the tyres is still there with you, because if you're slipping and sliding, then you're going to blow more time than you would gain.
What is Dawson's lap times? Like 29.4, so he's 0.6 slower than his best lap so far in this race. Marto was getting a bit faster towards the end. He is now into the pits. I think it's going to be a very lonely 3rd place for him. He should be a decent way ahead of Madsen, as long as this pit stop is all going smoothly for him.
Yep, let's keep an eye. He's kept out of trouble this race. Hasn't been his strongest event, but it's not the finish yet. But we know what he's capable of. He's had nothing but bad luck all race long. As we're following Remy Fortin leading the LMP3 quite comfortably now, actually. We have since the pit stop phase.
Yeah, and Sedgley came out 4 seconds behind State, so he lost 3 seconds during that pit stop sequence. Maybe it was just the low fuel on State's car. Maybe a bit of traffic for Sedgley.
Yeah.
And that was how the gap was opened up.
You only need one of these spaceships to send you in the bus stop, and that's 3 seconds gone.
Kraft just saying the fastest. Apologies, did not set the fastest lap of the race. He was 1/10 off the fastest lap of the race, but he does possess the fastest lap of the race, does Kraft, so he's using his fresh tyres very usefully. Marto comes out in 3rd position, and Tarosky, is he ahead of Madsen? No, he is not.
He's on
now
top of him.
our timing screens change. And yet it is still Madsen about a second ahead. So that's exactly what it was before. Madsen actually was a second longer stationary in his pit stall, but it wasn't enough for Tarosky to get ahead. So those guys stay the same order.
Yeah. Dawson
in. Philip Kraft has pitted again. He's pitted twice now in this race as Philip Kraft.
He was on exit, maybe, or was he? Did he pit early?
He didn't pit early. He pitted early. He pitted on like lap
too early then.
15, maybe.
Yeah, just obviously rimmed the tank and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I
Just
think
the
it was
risky run.
about 15 minutes into the race, and we're only seeing drivers go 40 minutes, aren't we, in
Yeah.
fuel? So, yeah, he must have just been a bit short, frustrating there for Kraft. And, yeah, so Philip Kraft would have been right with the likes of Madsen and Turoshki. He was battling with them earlier on, and that's why he's now a distant 8th place in class.
Dawson's coming out the pits. Pit stop was 2 seconds quicker than Daniel Kraft, but he's still going to be, what, 6 seconds back probably by the time he gets going. But that's good, but Kraft feeling pretty confident about himself. So, yeah, almost 6 seconds, 5.7, close as damn it. So Mark Hutchinson's pitted?
He has not pitted.
Ah, okay, good. Well, not good. I'm just a bit confused how he's looking like he could win this thing. But yes, he's still got a pit.
Yeah, should come out around... Well, Aaron Smith still needs to pit as well.
I think
maybe Joshua Wilson as well. Wilson will be taking... Actually, Wilson should get to the end of the race. I think he pitted on lap 11, which is about 17 minutes into the race, and you know we're at the 43-minute mark, and drivers are on the last bits of fuel, so I think he should get away with it. Should Joshua Wilson in 10th place right now?
Yeah, indeed, just checking in with the LMP3 guys. Fortan's got an 8.2 second lead. Sedgley 5 back. Yeah, as we're seeing State. Looks like Fortan's had a couple of slow laps. But obviously Adam State is still rocking some pretty fast lap times out there. 38.2, almost a second to 2 seconds faster than anyone else on track. But that's what we've said about State all season long. His one lap pace is phenomenal. Just hasn't been able to put them together as much as Sedgley.
Sure, yeah, agree. Hutchinson now into the pits, finally.
Oh, so he is stopping.
He is now stopping. Did not have extra fuel in his pockets for him to get to the end.
What do you think, Le Mans, with all the clutch saving, do you think they can try and push your limits of the league?
I think Le Mans will be a higher fuel. I think it'll be it's circuits like Hungary,
true,
which are the real low fuel consumption circuits.
Fuji as well, I think. No.
If it weren't for that long
pit
straight. Yeah,
no, you're right. I'm forgetting Le Mans because of the sheer amount of throttle time you're on. Aaron Smith is in the pits. It was a long one. Oh no, he's in now. Sorry, I see it.
And Hutchinson coming out in 5th place overall. Distant. Oh no, Zoffoli is now ahead of him. So, and the gap is 22 seconds. So yeah. But yeah, it's still 7th place overall for Hutchinson. Sometimes we'll say the overall position, and you're thinking, well, he's 2nd place. But that's just in class. Do click on the live timing link in the description below in order to see what we're seeing, basically. Yeah, then you'll be able to...
As the producer changes it on screen for you, there you go.
Lovely stuff. But yeah, that is the overall positions as it stands. And of course, big thanks to SDK Gaming for providing our overlay that you can see up on screen. The WEC theme is one of our favourites. I like how sort of space efficient it is. Everything is see-through, and so you get to see a lot of the broadcast, and the overlay isn't very sort of creeping over the action too much. And there's many others. And, well, it's just being demonstrated, actually, that there's so many options on the time tower.
Now it looks like my stream.
That is... it doesn't... I think V8 Supercars is maybe one of the worst ones, where you've got, like, a completely opaque timing tower, and you just lose the bottom of the screen.
Sorry, I'm caught looking at a different screen replay that will probably be coming soon.
Yeah, something involving Mark Hutchinson, it looks like.
Yeah, I always get caught by that screen. Something obviously is always awesome happening on that screen, but I need to get used to not looking just yet.
And they've now hidden it.
Oh, they've hidden it because I'm that bad. All right, Daniel Kraft leading to Dawson 6 seconds, QT3 back. Madsden sitting really well actually in 4th position there, but he does have Tarosky asking the question behind him. This is going to be the battle to watch for the moment. The other battle is the Paul Busby and Kraft battle. They're close, both very close on track. Who do you think can win out here? Pro of Mazda now last week's winner, or the AM that shows pro speed?
I think Madsen will hold on to this one. It seems like Turoski's been this far back for the last half hour, and he hasn't ever really got especially close to overtaking, so I think he might be quite happy to stay behind. Of course, you do score points for overall class position, so there is an incentive for these guys to beat one another. It's not a case for Turoski where he can't gain points from this. If he beats Madsen, then that will be an extra, I believe, 3 points to his points tally. So there is an incentive for these guys. I don't think enough of an incentive for Turoski to make much of a risk, unless Madsen, of course, makes a mistake.
Yep, let's check in with the LMP3 gaps. So State still 8 seconds back.
Sort of maintained now, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially 7 back, so dropping back a bit. Yeah, we found that the LMP3s are a little bit more consistent in their positions all race long compared to the lead swapping LMDHs we usually have. But this has been a bit more consistent from, if we minus the Wreckfest at the beginning.
Yes. Now that eliminates a fair few drivers. We've got a few retirees. I say a few. A lot of retirees, actually. A lot of retirees. A lot of retirees. And I can't tell you how many there are, honestly. But I can go through the names. Seagrow. Something happened quite recently to Seagrow, which ruled him out. Silver, Klist, Ibram, Copeland, Saul. Shame for Saul, actually. He was a comfortable 4th place earlier on. Valencia, Prete, Mafakwa, Boss, Humphrey, Costa, and Sarah.
Sorry to interrupt this, we just lost Mark adding to that list. He has been in the pits for 2 minutes. I assume that's a tow. Well, it would say tow, I suppose. So.
Ow. That's a lot of the car missing. That's like a shuttle.
Yeah, he's missing some car parts there. He needs fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Mazdan battle with Turoski.
He's getting. This is as close as Turoski has got, and I think it was Madsen at the start of this lap who was making some extra corners on the pit straight.
He can take a risk. This is what we were talking about earlier with blowing time, but now they're in their own bubble. He's got Safoli 11 odd seconds back. He can afford to try some things here. Get the guy offline. Can he get a move done?
Atnam Hedgecock disappointed that he's not going to be able to see his livery anymore.
All right, let's see the Hutchinson replay. Okay, so what happens?
So this is Kraft making contact with Hutchinson, spinning Hutchinson round, and I guess Hutchinson ends up in the wall then.
Yeah, let's look at this again. I assume they both take the left line. Oh, no, I mean, yeah, it's just not. It's not on. The door was never open.
I mean, that could change who wins this race. That was Kraft, I believe.
The other Kraft.
So, no, that was Dan Kraft. That's the
really?
1-2-2. Pearsons.
Oh.
So, if that's a 10-second penalty, then that would demote him down to 2nd, potentially even 3rd.
Yeah, that wasn't a question. That's a penalty. He didn't get alongside. He never got 1 centimetre alongside, and the inside line, the guy was already turning as well. I mean, we only saw it for a brief second, but yeah, he wasn't entitled to the corner at any point, and he hit a car and they spun. So F1 rules.
F1 rules.
That's it.
Well, extra motivation now for Marte to put his foot down and try to get that gap as small as possible. What I would say is, genuinely, if someone makes contact and they're playing for it and they end another driver's race, then that would be at least 30 seconds worth of penalty. So maybe even Madsen could get past as well. And of course, you can't see it on the LMDH Pro timing tower, but Turoski as well is within that range. So if Kraft does get a 30-second penalty, that would demote him to 5th place, and there's not really much he can do with the time remaining. 8 seconds he'd need to increase his gap by in order to lose any less places than that. So, wow, could be a big change in the championship.
So the only mindset I can think of, so it was him lapping him, right? Blue flag.
No, I think Hutchinson hadn't pitted yet, so I think that's why he was ahead.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I did wonder why you said how it could be Daniel Kraft battling Hutchinson. Yeah. Okay, so no blue flag. So I was my mindset was going to maybe there was a blue flag. Maybe he thought he was leaving it open to let him by, but no. Yeah, if someone goes longer than you, they are the leader. Yes, you could argue net they're not, but that's not how racing works. He is the leader.
Alex Simpson saying, okay, that Pearson car looks nice. I do think it looks nice. It's very clean.
It does.
Very clean. And I think the Acura as well just looks... I think all the LMDHs think it's been said a few times. They do look good. Madsen versus Turoshki. Madsen just about staying ahead of Turoshki. Turoshki was for a moment ahead of Madsen, but I think he was on the outside line going to the bus stop, and nothing changed.
I think Turoshki will get this done. I think he's just buying his time. I honestly do think it's good. I've seen him following 2-3 tenths, and he's in that Acura. He can get it done.
At the bus stop, do you think, or does he need to do it somewhere else?
At the bus stop, yeah, 100%. Let's see.
Yeah, it's all about how close he is coming out of turn 1. A lot easier said than done, but yeah, if you can get within quarters of a second coming out of turn 1, then it does look like he's going to have the overspeed to be able to get it done. But right now, he's best part of half a second, and that is too big a gap for him to get ahead by the time they turn into the corner. That's the important thing around the bus stop. Smith he's actually pulling away from Lars Devan, so I think he's actually got past Devan on that last lap, Smith. He's up to 10th place out of the pros. There's been various issues for the LMDH AMPs. Vey is currently 1 minute 20. I mean, you can see the timing tower for the AMPs. I mean, they've been decimated. We had 11 start this race, and only 2 of them are on the lead lap now.
Yeah, so that's it. This is this love-hate. It's either people's top 5 track or bottom 5 track. It's a Marmite, you know the analogy, right? Love it or hate it. The more confident you are with the bus stop, it gets easier. That's the biggest catch with this track, especially in something like a prototype where they bottom out. So you're seeing the more confident drivers benefit and go quicker, and the drivers that are tentative and trying to play it safe, unfortunately.
Battles largely thinning out at the moment. Not too much going on out on circuit. Closest battle still that Madsen versus Turoshki. Issue for Vilbrink, however. He's just come into the pits. I think he's had to tow back to the pits actually as Vilbrink. So that might be another casualty actually. He was 5th place, was Vilbrink. And that could be the end of his day because I think he got involved in the lap 1 pileup. Which started this race off. Now this is looking better now for Turoshki. I was saying he needs to be within quarter of a second coming out of turn 1. He's not quarter of a second behind, but he is 4/10 of a second behind, which is a bit closer. I say that, he's actually 3/10 of a second behind. This is the best chance he's had so far.
It is. He didn't take the off track though. Like if you're gonna set this up, if you're gonna go for it, you take the oval line.
He's going to be too far back, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Madsen can put his car in the middle of the circuit. Turoshki trying to look threatening, but
that set looks a little draggy because he's in the faster straight line car, the caddy. Well, no, let me correct. He has the car that can get off the corner the quickest, and then obviously plus the draft, it should be more than capable to get alongside. Just needs to take that off track if you can hear me. Just throttle earlier, open up the wheel earlier, take the off track, get back in before the slowdown, and yeah. Corners like this, as the race progresses, they get really tricky. Don't weave for the draft, mate, stay straight. You can really start cooking your rears. All these corners later in the race, you start sliding the rear and then it overheats and the next one's more tricky. And then this one is where you can see drivers stepping out near the end of the race. Especially if they start attempting to use second. It does get tempting, but they shouldn't. Keep it in third.
Final shout out to Apex Racing Academy. Apex Racing Academy sponsoring this series and awarding a few rewards for the top drivers and teams in this series. And of course, Apex Racing Academy providing setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and of course it's integrated with virtual racing school as well. Do check out Apex Racing Academy for bronze, silver or gold subscription in order to get yourself faster on iRacing, whether that be in these LMDH machines, in GT cars and touring cars, even in NASCAR. You can get faster on Apex Racing Academy. So check out apexracingac.com for more details. And still, Turoshki, yeah, I feel like Madsen knows what he needs to do now, and 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, and Turoshki's leading the championship. He's got quite a gap. This is a lot more points than his nearest his nearest contender is Vey now, believe it or not, because everyone behind has died. Yeah. So if he's smart, he doesn't need to do a lot more. It's interesting though, he is weaving to stay in the draft. He does look, he has the attitude of someone who does want to pass. Let's see. Interesting to see how their rears hold up through all these corners late into the race. Yeah, going deep doesn't help because then you get the wash on the way out. And it's like corners like this, you can take it flat, but on an hour-long race, if you're taking it flat, all you're doing is overheating the rears, and you pay that at the end of the race. But obviously, these guys change tyres. What, have we got 2 laps left?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, two more laps to go. Kraft is at the bus stop, I believe, at the moment. And of course, well, Kraft is leading by just 2.7 seconds. He's pacing himself towards the end of this race, it looks like, is Dan Kraft. He's not pushing too hard. He doesn't need to in order to take the win out on circuit, but for those who weren't around 10 minutes ago, he did make contact with another driver and might get a penalty. However, could also have damage, perhaps, from that contact.
I imagine he's just got some front aero, and that's going to feel horrible. If he's understeer at the front from the damage and oversteer from the rear from the track and the conditions, then it's not pretty to drive. The car won't turn, won't turn, won't turn. Oh, now it's all it's doing is turning. Let's see. Oh, Zafoli is in. Unfortunately, we are 1.5 laps from the end.
And he will drop another lap as well. I almost feel like it's probably worth him just running out of fuel with a lap to go, right? Like, even if he ran out of fuel with a lap to go, he's not going to lose another lap anyway.
No, this isn't just fuel at 20.
Yeah, that's going to be a prime.
Assume. All right, let's bring you a few more replays. This is what happened to... Oh, Hutchinson. I assume this was after the knock, yeah? So this is after the knock he had with Daniel Kraft. This is Wilbrink. Let's see. Oof. Okay, that's just a lack of grip out there. Broke a little late and just too tough to save. So that might lower Daniel Kraft's penalty, because we assumed that contact involved the death of Mark Hutchinson.
Yes,
but it didn't.
But I think Hutchinson did need to go back to the pits.
Oh, okay.
For repairs, I believe.
So then he's just come out, drove frustrated, and oh, Mark's in chat. Hello, Mark. So yeah, it's still a shame to see, because he was running what, 5th? Mark was running 5th, I believe.
He was, yeah. I think after the spin, they had the contact with Kraft. I think he was a bit low, but I think he was still second out of the out. So yeah, annoying for Turushki, not annoying for this man. And well, we'll see what the stewards think afterwards. But at least out on circuit, and despite that one blip, Dan Kraft has been on fantastic form, and he has delivered what we thought was possible at Road Atlanta, and he is going to take the round 4 victory here at Watkins Glen. Is Pure Sims Esports and Daniel Kraft taking the spoils. Dawson 1.5 seconds behind in the end in P2. Marteau will finish in 3rd position, top of the amateurs. It does look like it is good. In fact, also our race winner in the LMP3s, in fact, has already been Remy Fortin. Top of the amateurs in the LMDHs is going to be Balázs Tarowski. He's not going to beat Nick Madsen, but he won't matter too much, and that's 2 wins out of 4.
Very, very happy with that. I mean, he's got this championship in the bag if he takes a 2-week cruise, I think, now.
Dominant so far from him. And there is Remy Fortin with back-to-back wins. That's what he needed in order to bring himself back into championship contention after a poor Fuji round earlier on in the season. And the 313 has established himself as the man to beat after the early season form for Dan Session.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously not take away that, like you say, that one blip from Daniel Kraft's race. Very good qualifying, very good race. And, you know, well, we're not ever suggesting any of it was none of it was intentional. Sometimes it can just be a body language miscommunication that he thought the inside was open. Once he realised it was closed, he just couldn't get it slowed down. So it's a shame. Obviously, there does need to be a penalty for ruining someone's race. That's all we meant.
For sure. Well, we'll go to a quick advert, and then we'll be back with the race results and a chat with a few of our drivers here from Watkins Glen. welcome back to the Apex Racing TV esports studio. And also thanks, of course, to our sponsor there, Apex Racing Simulators, the very building that footage was recorded right here at the Sim Center. And do check out Apex Racing Simulators if you want to hire a rig and test out our virtual racing school equipment or any events, including perhaps using this very nice studio. But well, a race which in some ways was defined by that first lap incident, David, and I think we've got a few images of it behind us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a mess.
It's just something small that concertinaed into something major. Yeah, just one person excited to go, maybe went on green, but he did fix it and probably thought he did nothing wrong. But I think when the stewards look at it, he just caused everyone behind to get going. But yeah, apart from that, that was the big moment, right? We saw a few small incidents on track, especially early in the race with cold tyres and people trying to fight for the position they thought pace-wise they had. We didn't see too many traffic incidents, which was nice to see. LMDHs and LMP3s, that was good for the most part. But yeah, fantastic race. We did see lots of bus stop accidents.
We did. A lot of solo mistakes. It wasn't necessarily drivers going alongside, but it was just guys dismounting the curb incorrectly and spinning off into the very nearby walls at that part of the track. Let's have a look at the final results then from this round of the championship. And yeah, it was Dan Kraft who was able to take it by a second and a half. He was losing time. That gap was close to 10 seconds at one point. Dawson coming on very strong. Marto in third position. Nick Manson in fourth, just about beating our top AM driver Balash Tarowski. The rest of the top 10 were Viella, Busby, Kraft, and Wilson and Smith as well, despite his trials and tribulations. In the LMP3s, it was Remy Fortin taking his second race win in the space of 8 days. Adam States in second position. There was Dan Sedgley, Tom Stevens, Kevin Smith, and Brian Robinson. Those were the 6 finishers from that category. And yes, I think we'll have a chat with a few of our drivers. Let's see who we have available at the moment. And well, I think first up we'll have a chat with one of our race winners tonight, and that is Balash Tarowski, who now joins us in the chat. And Balash, congratulations. Another race victory for yourself, and it looked like a very intense race out there, but you got the race win.
Yeah, that was really hard, especially at the end. I was pushing so hard to get P4, but tires just fell off a cliff, to be honest. I pushed way too hard, I think. And I didn't want to risk it too much, you know, but yeah, it was good racing, I think.
Have you, when you've been racing in the officials the rest of this week, have you found overtaking to be this tricky? Because it seemed like, you know, you just couldn't quite get close enough coming out of turn 1 to get the drag up the straight and get ahead for the bus stop. Yeah, and also covering the inside into the bus stop, I really don't want to be on that outside part and getting hit, so I just backed out, you know. And in the officials too, I think it was like this, but maybe it was a bit easier because the skill level was a bit more like further. But here, I mean, I just couldn't put it up the inside anywhere. So yeah, it was really tough. And next up, we head to Le Mans for the next round of the championship. That one sort of divides opinion a bit, honestly. Is that one of your favourites?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the best track in the world. I look forward to it a lot. So I don't know who would not like the track, but yeah, I look forward to it a lot.
Well, congratulations on the race victory tonight, Balash. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, sure. My teammates. Yeah, to them. Big hello.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming up and having a chat with us, and best of luck. You can keep up this great form for the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That was Balash Tarowski there, your race winner. Who would you like to have a chat with yourself, David?
Aaron Smith.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, I'll bring him up. I'm going to do the dragon for my first
go.
time. Here we go. If I have drag permissions. I do not have drag permissions.
No. Okay.
Too low level.
Yanks Aaron up. Here he is.
Hello, Aaron. Can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Excellent. You was in the was it the caddy I saw you in? Yeah.
Yes.
How did you find it, mate? How was the balance for you?
It wasn't too bad. I did feel like it was a touch understeery, just where it lacks the pointiness that like the BMW has, especially in the final sector. But yeah, it was pretty decent. It was an all-round good choice. I think it was probably, I'd say, the pick of the week. I think it was the most balanced in terms of pros and cons. I think the Beamer is probably overall quicker, same with the Acura, but I just think they're a bit skittish, and I just think the Cadillac is amazing. And plus, it sounds
well
good.
said. I agree. I fully agree with you. Was you caught up at all in the lap 1 incident?
Yes, I was right in the middle of it. The guys in front of me, it went green for about 3 seconds, and I think the 2 people in front of me slammed on the brakes because the guys in front just weren't going. I tried to go round, and yeah, they just were down to like 20 miles an hour, so I couldn't avoid them. And yeah, had to tow back to the pits, was basically a lap down in, I think, 21st or 22nd overall. And somehow still managed a P10 finish with only 4 laps of practice, because I came back from holiday 20 minutes before practice ended. That's all I had.
Excellent.
So
I see you as P9. I don't know if that's good news or if you thought you was.
I think it's P9 in class, P10 overall.
Oh, I see you
I believe.
P8 in class, P9 overall.
What do you think? No, that's P9 in class and P10 overall. Yep.
Oh, it's because I can't read. All right. Okay. I know, but great recovery, mate. Top 10 finish. That's most great. You looking forward to Le Mans?
Yeah, it's going to be probably the most varied track. You're going to see like seconds between 1st and 5th, probably. It's going to be fun though, and hopefully the LMP3s won't be that big of an issue around there. But yeah, it was loads of fun coming back through the field, and yeah, somehow got P10. I'm really happy with myself. That was one of the best drives I've ever done with no practice, nothing at all. Nearly a lap down, and still bagged a good result. So I think I'm pretty excited for the next round.
Excellent job. I do think they're going to be a problem in the Porsche curves, but I'll let you test that for me next week. All right, Aaron, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just everyone at Apex. You guys, as usual, do an amazing job with these broadcasts. I'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, mate. Congratulations, and yeah, unlucky on the lap 1 incident.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah, that was Aaron Smith, and yes, he, after of course nearly winning back at Spa, I'm sure he'll be fighting for those top positions once again once he's able to get that little bit of extra practice in and get through those first few laps cleanly as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for us in terms of our chats. Reminder to the drivers, there is a link to the Apex Racing TV Discord in useful links if you're watching this back. Have a chat with us, even if you didn't do well. We do like to have a chat because we like to learn about the series, and there's elements that maybe we aren't aware of, and there's lots of different narratives going on in the race, so we would appreciate if you joined us for that. But we've already had a chat about Le Mans. The question was posed earlier on by Balash. Who dislikes Le Mans? I must say I had to put my hand up for that one.
You don't?
Unfortunately, I don't mind. I like it for the 24. I think it's a cool 24-hour event, but to race on, I don't like it, and to drive on, I don't like it.
I agree. I love the track, and I think it's the most prestigious endurance. I've never liked it as a sprint track.
Yeah.
And I do know why lots of people don't like it. Some people just don't like draft tracks. Just the nature of the style of racing. It's a completely different type of racing. So I understand that, especially if you're not comfortable with bump drafting. But yeah, I don't hate it. I'll be doing it next week, and obviously because we're doing it next week for IMSA, but I don't know. It's not a sprint track to me.
No. I dislike how little wing. I go on about anyone who's tuned in to me. I always say this: you have to run very little wing, and it makes the Porsche curves a pain because you're oversteering all over the place because you got no rear downforce. So that's why I don't like it. So yeah, at least I'm not on circuit, and well, I'll try not to be too annoying over that 75-minute race, complaining about the a circuit. I'm sure I'll mention at some point how the Mulsanne should be replaced by the Suzuka S's at some point in that one. But that is pretty much it for us for tonight. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel as well, and also head over to our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's both Apex Racing TV and Apex Racing League as well, where we post extra clips. We had a little bit of a reminder of what happened last time out posted on our social media accounts earlier on, so do go over there for that. And of course, a big thanks to VRS, to SDK Gaming, and to Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this series and helping us out for all of our streams. But that is pretty much it for us. We have got the late Apex starting in about half an hour's time, so do make sure to tune in for that on on the channel in just a few minutes time. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, and from David Sampson, we will say goodbye, and we'll see you next time out at the Mon. See ya.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.